What are some highly likely natural disasters in the next 100 years? The complete destruction of Istanbul from an earthquake. A megathrust earthquake along the Cascadia subduction zone off the northwestern coast of North America. The last large-scale rupture was in the year 1700 and research indicates it's on a roughly 500-year cycle. So it's coming due again as the tectonic stresses build. Of course, in 1700 there were minimal human inhabitants of the Pacific Northwest as compared to modern times. That difference is what's going to make the next large rupture so devastating. A Carrington-level solar event is pretty likely over the next 100 years. There's also a fault in Tornado Alley that periodically has major earthquakes, though I can't remember the name or when the next one is due. The Campi Flegrei, Italy is the supervolcano believed to be the most likely to erupt next, but even then it's speculated by some experts to be on a scale at around 500 years. Yellowstone, by comparison as another supervolcano, isn't necessarily due from historic activity for another 100,000 years. In the US, we recently had an earthquake on the East Coast which isn't as common as West Coast ones, but way more far-reaching. The composition of our West Coast is softer than the East. The rock composition is older and more ridged in THR East. Because of this, there is a possibility of a larger, more dangerous earthquake in 100 years. In our state of Missouri, however, is where the highest concern is. Last major earthquake there sounded like someone blast mining and caused the Mississippi River to change course and run backwards. If that happens again with all these major cities, it could be devastating. Mt. Rainier is due to blow, probably taking out the entire Paiute-Tacoma area. The New Madrid fault is overdue with huge loss of life in St. Louis, Memphis. Seattle is due an 8-9 RS earthquake. California is always due. Miami will be Venice by 2300. Imagine Venice with a Cat 4 hurricane. Shiver. Wildfires. Every year it's the worst fire in history. A really bad solar flare. Like the Carrington event, https://n.wikipedia.org Wiki Carrington event. Mega droughts. The US West Coast is overdue for another Mt. St. Helens-style volcanic eruption. Mt. Rainier would cause so much death and destruction, as would Mt. Baker. Hope I'm not here to see it. The Atlantic conveyor is collapsing. https. The consequence will be sudden by climate terms increase in sea level on the Atlantic coast, and the collapse of current agriculture in Europe. OTOH, if the timing is perfect, loss of the UMOC will more than counteract global warming as vast areas becoming gradually uninhabitable or unsuitable for agriculture due to climate change. Failure of the Thames Barrier, which was engineered to withstand a 100-year flood, but may lose that level of protection if sea level rise accelerates, unless it's upgraded to deal with that. Fortunately, we've got some time to go before an upgrade becomes necessary, but I hope someone is keeping a watch out on the problem over the decades to come. This is a very interesting question. I would like to know how such incidents are calculated. Category 5 hurricane hitting New York City. A warming ocean will lead to hurricanes gaining strength as they travel north. Baltimore, D.C., Philadelphia, NYC, Boston all slammed and flooded. I feel like with the Atlantic warming it's only a matter of time that hurricane season will be a year-round occurrence. Well, we just had like 4 huge tornado touchdown in central Oklahoma within a span of an hour, hitting the same towns over and over. So super tornado clusters? Seattle. Earthquake. Tsunami. I don't know if we consider human-driven climate change a natural disaster, but I fully expect famine, mass extinctions, the end of life in the Arctic, and lots of other fun stuff in the next century. Over the ditch. But a couple that I think about from climate modeling are, daily temperature in Queensland will be about 4°C hotter every day, and Rome and 2 the cyclone band will reach down to Brisbane by 2050. We have fucked our planet for all who come after us.